I want to go over just one thing, and Pat, maybe you can help us out. Kamala Harris and the Democrats now are coming out and they're saying they're against these riots. But if you're against these riots, why would you be bailing people out? Now, you bail protesters out, but protesters usually are just released on their own recognizance, or it's a very small bail. Let's say it's $300. Early on, that was the average bail, $343. Now the average bail is $13,000. And Harris had been pushing an organization called the Minnesota Freedom Fund, and the donations were going to be spent on to bail out protesters that were arrested by police. Now, I mean, you shouldn't, if you're protesting, you don't go to jail in America. It's if you've done something. But these were not peaceful, and the left wanted them out of jail to be able to continue to wreak havoc. So Kamala Harris's advocacy for the Minnesota Freedom Fund helped her draw donors from Hollywood. We know at least 13 members from Joe Biden's campaign were also donors, and they bragged about it all over Twitter. They've raised $30 million. Okay. We can't really figure out where all of that money went because Minnesota operates in a way to make sure you can't really find out who was actually bailed out by the Minnesota Freedom Fund. But Fox 9 in Minneapolis did some legwork and found some of the names. Listen to this. One of those that they bailed out was Jaleel Stallings. He's a guy that was peacefully protesting with a kind of a handmade gun that he made into an AK-47 where he was shooting at members of the SWAT team during the riots in May. They recovered a modified...
That sounds mostly peaceful.
Yeah, it was mostly peaceful. I mean, he had to breathe in between shots. He didn't just continue to hold the trigger down.
He didn't shoot at everybody.
Exactly right. Mostly it was just SWAT members. They paid $75,000 in cash to get him out. Now, this is Kamala Harris. She's raising money for this group, and they're bailing him out. Why would you want him out on the streets? Why would you want him? The Biden campaign, Kamala Harris, they should be asked, why did you help fund the bail for an attempted cop killer? Why? Another person bailed out was Darnika Floyd. She was charged with second-degree murder for stabbing her friend to death. They released her on $100,000 cash for her release. Why are the Democrats? What? Christopher Boswell, a twice-convicted rapist, currently charged with kidnapping, assault, and sexual assault on 2 separate cases. They paid $350,000 in cash for his release. Before the death of George Floyd, this organization, with Democrat support, Biden and Harris's support, and fundraisers in their own midst, they bailed out 563 people. The average bail was $342. However, after George Floyd, they've bailed out 184 people. The average bail, $13,195. That means the violent of the violent of the street rioters are being bailed out and put back on the street by the Democratic Party. The president of the American Bail Coalition, his name is Jeff Clayton. I saw a story. He said there has to be some scrutiny on this. It has to be violent criminals because that's all that's left. There's nobody else left. There are no protesters left to spend this kind of money on. Yeah, because there's no protesters in jail, just violent rioters like Jaleel Stallings, who was shooting at police and trying to kill the police. And for them to now take this stand is so insulting to their voters. Not to me, I know who they are, but to their voters. It's crazy. It's crazy. And quite honestly, it's evil. The lies that are going on, absolute evil.